as I'm sitting here in the morning, as I do, staring at shit man had nothing to do with to create, taking in the benefits of the stuff that's been here forever, so that the power inside of me that's been here forever, that knows only to heal, regenerate, and adapt to keep my ass here, keep it alive. I'm thinking about things, sipping not plain fucking water, because why would I drink plain water? It doesn't nourish or hydrate. But I like to drink water. Go ahead. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying what I don't. I want to cover something really quickly. When I talk about injuries, or I talk about true training, or bringing yourself to a level of healing, I think it's getting misinterpreted, and people are commenting or sharing stories, and they're all well and good, but it's not what I'm talking about. The farmer who's been a farmer for 64 years and then has just bone on bone knees, his knees are shredded, back is out, all this stuff, and the story of, yeah, he had pain 30 years ago and he just said fuck it, kept working, kept moving, and that's what you say, keep moving. And now he can't do what he loves to do because his body seems to have failed him. And that's a story. Or I fell down a hill, bruised, broke, this, that, and the other, kept moving, and I'm now back on that same hill. I just have to wear something to protect my body, or I don't get to do that hill as often, but it doesn't hurt anymore. When you hear these stories, or even somebody who's chosen to do some radical fucked up cleanse or detox because they thought that those actually exist, and that there actually are a parasite cleanse or a parasite detox, or some detox, or some extreme way of eating, or some holy shit, and you tried, and your body went in a massive healing response to what, in addition to what you were already trying to do, which you couldn't handle. The system couldn't handle that level. Otherwise, you would just say whoever you were working with could go that extreme. You could handle that, but you can't handle that. But the healing response of the body from those inputs, which you couldn't sustain because you weren't in a capacity to be able to handle that level of adaptation at that time. When we hear those stories like, oh yeah, I tried that and this happened, oh my God, now I'm just trying to slowly make no changes, slowly try to keep the same level of existence without feeling anything. Because if you're not feeling anything, then life is just great. And that's not, again, what I'm talking about. So if we looked at these stories and these scenarios as celebrations, because they should be, even the person who doesn't do shit, and we don't even hear about, but you hear about when I say the complete de-evolution of the human being, that is what you're seeing because of our lifestyle choices and the way we live, and values and beliefs and connection, everything, or what we consume. But the fact that the bodies are still here, they're going to measure it as increases in diseases all over the place, increases in childhood diseases, increases in this type of disease in this population, in this area of the world. It's not increases in disease, it's increases in healing responses. So the fact that there's still a fuck ton of people still here, considering how they choose to live, that's a fucking celebration. The potential's there. The accountability and responsibility is embarrassing, especially in the health freedom world, but we won't go there too much. Worst of all, in the health freedom world. And the new guides that are leading people off a cliff. So if we look at each of these stories, the farmer, the fact that his knees were locked in and amplified, inflamed, and he had pain, and he has bone spurs and this, and calcifications and stenosis on his spine's curved and rounded, and his joints and his posture and his hips and pelvis, and the person who decided to do some radical food change and couldn't sustain it, and their body responded in this way. Like when you hear those stories, goddamn, the fact that the body did those things to adapt to that scenario is cause for celebration. That's amazing. Couldn't sustain it. And the other one is just a basic level of healing response that's automatic. And the body can appear to imprison somebody because it locks somebody down with pain, inflammation, and rigidity and everything else. It's not locking you down. It's protecting you from going out and making things worse and dying, basically, because it's not ready to end. And that's the whole goal of the human being, is to perpetuate this existence. So it's going to adapt and heal no matter what. So it appears that it's imprisoning you and you're so depressed and distraught and, oh my God, I'm 70 and I can't do what I love anymore and this and that. It's just protecting you from the choices that you've made and trying to heal to get your attention. Whether you make any changes or not, or listen to that and make the changes, is completely up to you. So celebrate the basic level of healing that everybody's doing, even whether they change stuff or not. Just body's healing. Fuck yeah. Let's celebrate it. New levels of disease, fucking healing responses. Celebrate it. Holy shit. This is awesome. That's not the level I'm talking about. You existing at this flat line for as long as you can, because longevity somehow means success or health. Whether you're hooked up to machines and stuck in a bed, or hooked up to supplements and treatments and lights and electrical devices and practitioners of all kinds to hold you on this balance beam, and if you fall off the balance beam, you fall fucking apart, like a rock'em sock'em fighting robot. That's not the level of healing. It's just level of existence. Keep yourself here. If you're part of the centenarian group where you're 100 plus and you're just existing to 100, that's success. Maybe. That's not what I'm talking about. And that's not why I think you guys are combing all the pages trying to find more information and more information and more information. Because if you were at peace with the way you were living and the information you had, you'd unfollow everybody and you'd just live. Like me, like Cassie. I'm not digging around for information because I'm in wonder on what else is out there. There's enough here already for me to try to figure out and play with and experiment with, because the only scientific study you need is your life. It's the only one that's applicable and means anything to you. So the level I'm talking about is taking in this language that the body has called symptoms of healing. It's the only language it can speak. If it spoke English, it'd be amazing. Or if it spoke Chinese, or if it spoke Mandarin, or it spoke... Okay, it doesn't. It speaks in the perfect, beautiful language called sensations. All right. And we listen to that and make the changes within the principles of life and the laws of life and the essentials that it is of what it is to be a human being. And you make these changes to a degree that exceeds anything that's caused any damage in you up to this point. Your whole system, not only do you heal from said arthritic knees or MS label or whatever the hell the label is that they gave you, not only do you heal to a level that's no longer the interpretation of the healing responses necessary for you to change, that the body needed you to change in the first place, but your entirety of everything, the whole organism levels up. Now you're experiencing a whole new level of life, higher. No matter how old you are, no matter what stage of the game that you realize this truth and you decide to make these changes, no matter where you are, the body is always ready. And that steep level of adaptation, sustainable adaptation, is what I'm talking about. So when I'm saying human move, older human move more, injured human move most, it's not just, oh yeah, I'm no longer in pain, God bless, moving more. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a complete redesign of the entirety of you. And what started as an injury, because movement is the one essential, training is the one essential that underlies all of them. Because for you to make relationship changes, you got to have the capacity to sustain motion and express yourself with your body. Your emotions are expressed through this physical body. And you can only express emotions to the level that you can adapt to. And motion is what is the ground, the ground floor of that expression. So again, your defensive values, your changes in your location, your peace with your job, your all these other things that you need to assess and look at. When you address, we should be so fortunate to have an injury, because when you go in and heal at a level appropriate to what I'm talking about, and you start addressing all the essentials of your life, with motion being the number fucking one, all of a sudden now, it's a story of, Jesus, I no longer am experiencing the healing response that my body needed to get my attention with before, but now it's I don't ever have to stop doing the things I love. Oh, that's what you're talking about? I don't ever have to stop being a farmer. I don't ever have to stop playing competitive sports. I don't ever have to stop being an artist, a musician, or a creator of some... You perform at a level you're prepared to. It's completely up to you. So I just want to denote that when I'm talking about on this page, I'm not talking about this comfortable, change jack shit, let the body do what it does, it's gonna do anyway, which is just adapt to your level of input. That's not what I'm celebrating, although that is pretty fucking cool. The fact that there's billions of us still here, even though billions of us still choose to live the way we live. That's a celebration. Not really the one that I'm talking about, but worth acknowledging. So, just so it's clear that whoever's on my page, when I'm speaking about healing, especially injuries, or increasing a level of performance across the board for the entire organism, regardless of whether you're healing a relationship, regardless of whether you're healing a cancer diagnosis, regardless of whether you're healing. I don't want to hear that you healed cancer. That's not really that big a deal. The healing response is cancer, so what's the big deal? Just finish it. It's not I healed cancer and then fell down a block of stairs and now I have a fractured hip and now I'm in a hospital loaded on. Then you didn't really get it, did you? That's not that astounding. That's not impressive. That is not what I'm talking about. Okay? So, who's up for that challenge? Because that is life. That is the human life. That is what's here. It's for everybody, whether you choose it or not. I have no idea. All right, back to eating.